As Gandhiji was intellectually sound, he was outshining the professor, and he was an outstanding student in the campus. So this particular professor was always feeling insecure. He was feeling jealous. So whenever he gets a chance, he would put him down. On one such occasion, when Gandhi was having breakfast in the canteen, he happened to sit at the same table with this professor. And this professor made this comment in public: the pig and the bird cannot sit together. Immediately Gandhi stood up and said, now bird is flying away. And Gandhiji left the place quietly. And then this professor felt all the more infuriated. He felt humiliated. So he wanted to put him down again. So the class he asked him, Gandhi, if God were to appear to you and ask you, what would you like to have? A bag full of gold or a bag full of wisdom? What will you take? Immediately Gandhiji said, I will take bag full of gold. And then the professor said, if I were in your place, I would have taken bag full of wisdom. Then Gandhiji replied, each one will take what they don't have. So again he felt put down. So he conducted an exam, and then Gandhiji as usual wrote very well the examination. And then this professor, out of jealousy and anger, he typed everything, he cut everything, and he wrote the last page, idiot, in capitals. Gandhiji received the paper, and he looked at the last page, and he went to the sir politely, sir, you have put your signature, but you have forgot to give me the marks. Yes, my dear fathers and brothers, this is how a person with wisdom will work. If you don't have wisdom, then our life will be ruined. We can be carried away by our emotions, we can be carried away by the situations and the people. Whereas if you are a person of wisdom, which comes from the Lord, everything can be handled. That is the source of transformation. We have just completed our this week chapter with this week, called to be one in a transforming world. So we can speak about this transformation. I would like to address fivefold transformation which we are called to experience, and which are very essential for all of us as Dehonians. The first one is a spiritual transformation. The second one is intellectual transformation. The third one is emotional transformation. The fourth one is relational transformation. The fifth one is pastoral transformation. So these are the five important areas where we are called to experience transformation. Only then this theme will come alive in our lives. Called to be one in a transforming world. First and foremost, we are called to experience the spiritual transformation. And Jesus is the model for us, who gives us an example to see and to show how we can experience spiritual transformation. He spends time with the Lord in prayer. And this spiritual transformation means it is contemplation of the divine and connection with the divine. This spiritual transformation means union with the divine and communion with the divine. The spiritual transformation means holiness through the divine and wholeness through the divine. That's how we can experience the spiritual transformation in our lives. We are called to be profoundly and deeply in touch with the divine. We are called to be deeply in touch with this interior reality called the divine. The more we are coming in contact with this divine reality, the more we experience spiritual transformation in our lives. Jesus spends the time with the Lord in prayer. He has this beautiful attitude. He spends time in solitude. He spends time with the multitude. That is the attitude of Jesus. Early in the morning is found to be in prayer. Late in the evening was found to be in prayer. Whole night he spends time with the Lord in prayer. He experienced connection with the divine. He experienced contemplation with the divine. He experienced union with the Father. He will experience communion with the Father. That becomes the source for him to exercise his ministry outside. So he had sufficient time, quality time for solitude, that enhanced his ministry to be with the multitude for the people outside. That has given him fortitude, that has given him certitude, that has become his inner aptitude. That's why he was able to climb this spiritual altitude in his life. Likewise, each of us, if we are able to spend quality time with the Lord in prayer, without compromising with our ministries, with all other things, then we can also experience this spiritual transformation, which is the foundation for our vocation, which is the fountain of our vocation, which gives us the real identity which we call as Dehonianity, Dehonianness, that comes from the spiritual transformation. And the spiritual transformation means giving priority to the Lord. The spiritual transformation means giving preference to the Lord. The spiritual transformation means giving primacy to the Lord. So when we give priority to the Lord, and when God becomes our priority, we will experience the interior and spiritual authority to live our lives properly. When God becomes our reference, and when God becomes our preference, He will give us a radical reference for us to follow in our lives. And when God becomes our primacy, then we will experience that divine intimacy within ourselves, through which we will experience spiritual transformation. That is the need of the hour. So we are called to experience and to enhance our lives through spiritual transformation, following the model of Jesus, following the model of our founding father, who spent quality time with the Lord in prayer, quality time with the Lord in Eucharistic adoration. That becomes source of his vocation, that becomes source of his ministry outside. And secondly, we can speak about intellectual transformation. Our founder is known for doctorates, 4 doctorates he was having. He was intellectually sound. He was able to read the science of his time because he was intellectually transformed. He was intellectually prepared. He was intellectually updated. He was intellectually upgraded according to the science of the times. So we as Dehonians, we are also called to update ourselves. We are called to upgrade ourselves because the world is growing very fast. The world is getting transformed in different ways. It is going faster than we think it is. So we also need to keep up with the pace of the world and then to face this world, this challenging world, this transforming world. For this we need to be intellectually sound, intellectually alert. We need to intellectually update ourselves. We need to intellectually upgrade ourselves. If we don't update ourselves, we will soon be outdated. If we don't upgrade ourselves, soon we will be uprooted from the society because society is growing fast. The world is getting transformed. So we are also called to experience this intellectual transformation, which calls us for updating, reading, reflection, reviewing, whatever means that are available through the digital media, through reading of the books, reflection of the books, of the articles, what is happening in the church, what is happening in the society, what is happening in the world outside. We need to keep our eyes open. The socio-political, economic realities of the world, we need to become aware of, through which we can experience intellectual transformation. And thirdly, we can speak of emotional transformation, which is the most important one. We are called to be emotionally balanced people. We see the first reading of today, Saul, even though he was grown up in age, has a lot of experience, he is so jealous about the small boy David, because people are singing chants about David. They are highlighting David, and then Saul feels insecure. He feels so much jealous. And that shows his emotional immaturity. He was not experiencing that emotional transformation. That's why he said this jealousy is a mental cancer. If you don't take care of this, that will eat up your mind, it will ruin your mind and heart, then it will lose your peace and you will be broken into pieces. In other words, jealousy means counting somebody else's blessings instead of counting your own blessings. When we begin to count the blessings of the other instead of counting our own blessings, then we experience jealousy. We experience insecurity. We experience inferiority. We experience insufficiency. Then we will have emotional deficiency. We will have emotional bankruptcy. We will become emotionally bankrupt. All our emotions will get better of us. We will be emotionally losing ourselves, ruining our lives, ruining the lives of others. We make life miserable for ourselves, we will make life miserable for others around if you are not emotionally balanced. So this emotional transformation invites each one of us. The Lord is an example. He always keeps up his emotions. He is an emotionally balanced person, emotionally well-integrated person. Likewise, our founding father also. He remains as an ideal for us to experience this emotional transformation. Living in our communities, living in our doing various apostolates and ministries, there are every opportunity for us to lose control of our emotions. And then emotions will handicap us. So we need to become emotionally intelligent. We need to become emotional, we need to experience the emotional competency, which we call as emotional transformation. That will bring decorum to our lives. The people, those who see us emotionally balanced persons, they will have high regard for us. They will respect us. Because in all the situations, you know how to handle them. You'll be able to know how to manage all kinds of circumstances, situations and people if you are able to have this emotional transformation. That's why Father Kus used to always repeat this word. To grow old is automatic, but to grow as a mature person is a choice. We can automatically grow, or physical growth happens, but to grow as a mature person, we need to make a conscious choice. Through making conscious choice, we can consciously handle, deal and regulate our emotions, and we can experience emotional transformation. Which leads us towards the fourth transformation, that is the relational transformations. We are called to experience relatedness. We are called to experience interrelatedness. We are called to experience connectedness. We are called to experience interconnectedness because we are interrelational beings. That is what we mean by Dehonian communion. That is our priority. We need to live in our community life, which becomes our primary apostolate, which also implies living with people of various temperaments, various attitudes, and various likes and dislikes. So we need to have this interpersonal transformation, that is relational transformation. The more you are able to transform yourself relationally, the more you can win over the hearts of the people outside. The more you are able to live your communion in your own communities in this mature manner, the more you will be able to give witness to the people outside. And this takes us to the last form of transformation, that is pastoral transformation. Father Dehon is an example for this. As Father Steve mentioned the first day, he holds Bible in one hand and newspaper in the other hand. And we see Jesus as the real model, spending time with the Lord and spending time with the people. The methodology of Jesus has been followed by our founding father Leo John Dehon. He adopted the same methodology. He takes the Lord to the people outside. In Janapeta, in our theology there, a beautiful phrase is written, take the word to the world. So we take the word to the world outside, and then we take the word to the world inside. That's so we can experience that pastoral transformation. Because we are called to be at the service of the people. We are called to be at the service of the needy, the poor, the downtrodden, the broken, the marginalized. These are the people who are in need of our service. That is what Jesus did. He used this methodology beautifully. If you go through the pages of the gospel, we see the methodology that is followed by Jesus. He was reaching, he was preaching, he was teaching, he was catching, he was matching, then he was hatching. He was reaching to the place where nobody was going. He was reaching to the place where people were. And then he was preaching to them. He was teaching to them. Then he was catching some people. Come and be my followers. I will make you fishers of men. So he was catching them, and then he was hatching them, preparing them. It took 3 full years to give them intense formation. After hatching them, he was matching them for his mission. He said, go all over the world and preach the good news. Baptize, make them my disciples. That is how he prepared them for his mission. So Jesus gives us that model for us to become, to experience pastoral transformation. The same model has been followed by our founding father. That's why he kept telling us, go to the people, reach out to the people, but don't go with emptiness. Take the fullness that you receive in your prayer, that you receive from your spirituality, and your meeting of the people will become more effective. So today, as we are concluding this chapter, let this word transformation echo in our hearts. And let us ask the grace of our loving God, through the intercession of our founding father Leo John Dehon, that we all may experience spiritual transformation, that we may experience intellectual transformation, that we may experience emotional transformation, that we may experience relational transformation, and that we may experience pastoral transformation. And thus, we can effectively and efficiently bring about the reign of the heart of Jesus in souls and in societies. May the Lord of oneness and togetherness help us to experience this transformation in our lives.